Well, no, Ryan Papenhuyzen sustained a severe ankle injury last night against Brisbane. He underwent surgery this morning, and this is a Sydney Morning Herald press release. It says he had 6 screws and a plate inserted into his leg, which is important because we'll be able to explain what injury he likely had. This is what his x-ray is likely to be based on that Sydney Morning Herald report. We're just going to mark the bones out for you here so you know what they are. That's the tibia, or otherwise known as your shin bone. That's the fibula bone, which is on the little toe side of your ankle. And then the third bone that makes up your ankle is a bone called the talus, which we're just going to mark down the bottom here. And now we're just going to mark out where his actual fracture site is if you can't see it. So it's just here in red, and the fracture outline is marked in yellow there. We're just going to mark the fracture there with an arrow. So he's had what's called a Weber B fracture, and this is what likely his x-rays are to look like with the plate and screws there. That's what the press release said, 6 screws and a plate. There's no mention of something called a tightrope, and that is important. That would run just where this red line is going to go, just across here. If he had that, there'd likely be a ligament injury with his fracture. And the tightrope would look something like this if this is the case. So it's got a little button type thing on one side. It then is drilled across to the other side, across the tibia, and there's another button there. And that does the job of a ligament that is often injured at the time of this type of fracture. So as I said before, he had something called a Weber B fracture, which is just that area marked there. And that injury comes with a 50% risk of an injury to ligaments known as the syndesmosis. And you might have realised that we've got another video on syndesmosis, and it's a common injury in rugby league players. And as I said, 50% of these type of fractures will have a syndesmosis injury, but it's not mentioned in the press release. And that is important because it may mean that the injury is not quite as bad. It may mean he may have a slightly faster recovery, and he's got less hardware in his ankle. Now, if you liked our videos, please take a look at our other Ryan Papenhuyzen injury video on his knee, or you can take a look at our ankle fracture video, or alternatively, you can subscribe to the Foot and Ankle Orthopaedic Surgeon. Thank you.